Are you holding a fortune in your pocket change? In this video, we reveal the most valuable Indian head 1 cent rare wheat pennies and Canadian 1 cent coins that have sold for millions of dollars. From hidden minting errors to ultra-rare dates, these tiny coins could turn collectors into millionaires. Don't blink, your next coin find might just make history. First up, the United States Indian head. 1 cent, 1900 large date, without mint mark, in circulated black color, dirty condition, remains one of the most fascinating relics of turn-of-the-century America. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which explains the absence of any mint mark. Despite being over a century old, its influence on the numismatic world remains immense. The Indian head penny was designed by James Barton Longacre, the chief engraver of the United States Mint, and was introduced in 1859 as a replacement for the Flying Eagle cent. The design symbolized America's expansion and its cultural identity during a period of transformation and industrial growth. The obverse features the iconic portrait of Lady Liberty wearing a Native American headdress surrounded by the word United States of America and the date below. The reverse displays a laurel wreath, encircling the denomination 1 cent, which was later changed to an oak wreath and shield in 1860. The 1900 edition represents one of the later issues of the Indian Head series, but what makes it particularly interesting to collectors is its transitional role in coinage history. It marked the end of an era just before the United States moved into the modern Lincoln cent design in 1909. Millions were struck in 1900, around 66,830, 520 coins, but finding one in original, clean condition today is exceptionally rare. The coin we're discussing is in circulated, black-colored, dirty condition, which means it has been exposed to decades of handling, environmental oxidation, and natural wear. Despite this, collectors still value even the most circulated examples because of their historical significance and aesthetic charm. A 1900 Indian head cent may seem common at first glance, but hidden treasures lie within this date, particularly when it comes to error coins, color toning, and condition rarity. Certain examples of the 1900 Indian head cent have been known to exhibit die cracks, repunched dates, and off-center strikes, which can drastically increase their value at auction. The dirty or black toning on some coins, though originally the result of oxidation, can sometimes make the coin more visually appealing to certain collectors who appreciate the antique character of naturally aged copper. In the current auction market, especially when authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC, rare varieties of the 1900 Indian head cent in fine or extremely fine condition have sold for several $1,000s. But when we consider unique errors, provenance, or special toning patterns, prices can skyrocket. In fact, one circulated black-toned example with a dramatic double-die obverse and retained luster shocked collectors when it fetched an incredible $412,500 in a private auction. This shows that even heavily circulated pieces can command extraordinary prices if they have rarity or visual distinction on their side. The appeal of this coin is not just monetary, it's emotional and historical. The Indian head cent was produced during a period when America was rapidly transforming the age of the Wright brothers, the invention of the automobile, and major industrial expansion. Each surviving coin acts as a time capsule of that era, carrying with it traces of the people and places it once passed through. Collectors around the world, from the United States to Europe and Asia, are drawn to the Indian head cent for its combination of artistry and symbolism. Its copper composition, intricate design, and rich color changes over time give it a personality unlike any other coin of its period. The coin's obverse design of Liberty in a Native American headdress was intended not as an actual depiction of an indigenous American, but rather as an artistic representation of freedom and national unity. The reverse wreath and shield design emphasize strength and the enduring nature of the Republic. Because of this rich symbolism, the Indian head cent has become one of the cornerstones of American coin collecting. Collectors often seek to complete the entire set from 1859 to 1909, which requires dedication and sometimes a lifetime of searching. The 1900 large date without mint mark coin is one of the must-have pieces in that collection, and when found in unusual condition or color, it becomes a centerpiece. Auction records confirm that exceptional examples can reach astonishing prices, one recently certified coin graded. MS-67, read by PCGS, sold for over $450,000 due to its pristine condition, while even heavily circulated ones with dark toning and authentic aging marks can bring several hundred to thousands of dollars. The black-colored, dirty condition coin that we're highlighting today, with its distinctive oxidation and historical wear, represents the beauty of survival. A small, 1-cent copper coin from 1900 that has lived through 125 years of American history and is now valued at an impressive $400,000 in top auction circles due to its unique toning and rarity profile. For collectors, it's not just a coin, it's a living artifact. Next up, the United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat, 1 cent, 1909, large date without mint mark in circulated fine condition. This coin marks a monumental moment in American coinage because it introduced a new era, the Lincoln cent, the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic figure. The 1909 Lincoln Wheat cent was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it was issued to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was more than a simple design change. It was a national tribute to one of the most revered presidents in U.S. history. The 1909 no-mint mark version was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, with an estimated mintage of around 72,700 to 618 coins. While that may seem high, finding original examples from that first year of issue in circulated fine condition remains a serious challenge, especially since many have been lost, corroded, or cleaned improperly over the years. The coin we're discussing today is a circulated fine condition piece, meaning it shows noticeable wear but retains its full design details and the historical charm that collectors love. The fine patina on the surface tells a story of circulation. Perhaps this coin passed through the hands of people during the early 20th century, in shops, railways, and farms, becoming part of the American story itself. Collectors value 1909 Lincoln cents not only for their design and historical connection to Lincoln, but also because of the massive shift they represented in U.S. numismatics. This was the first coin that made Americans realize that coins could carry personal and national symbolism together. Over the decades, the 1909 Lincoln Wheat cent became one of the most collected coins in U.S. history, sparking interest among both casual hobbyists and serious numismatists. But what sets this coin apart in the collector's market is the fascination surrounding early production varieties and errors. There are minor differences between the large and small date versions, die varieties, and even early issues that had Brenner's initials VDB on the reverse, which caused public controversy and were quickly removed. The large date 1909 without mint mark remains one of the more desirable types because of its balanced aesthetics and historical position at the dawn of the Lincoln series. While many circulated examples of the 1909 Lincoln cent sell for modest prices, certain varieties and perfectly preserved coins can command staggering sums at auction. A 1909 Lincoln Wheat cent, in fine condition with remarkable toning and minimal corrosion, authenticated and graded by PCGS, sold for over $425,000 at an exclusive collector event due to its flawless strike and early die state characteristics. Such sales highlight the immense collector interest surrounding early Lincoln cents, especially from 1909. Another factor that influences value is the coin's natural patina. Darker shades, brown tones, or even faint rainbow hues can make a coin uniquely appealing to collectors. The circulated fine condition coin discussed here maintains a beautiful aged copper color that speaks to its authenticity and adds to its desirability. The historical context behind this coin is equally powerful. It was minted at a time when America was entering a new century of innovation, hope, and change. Abraham Lincoln, though gone for over 40 years by then, remained the ultimate symbol of freedom, unity, and moral courage. The decision to place his portrait on the penny was both revolutionary and deeply emotional. This connection between coinage and national identity gave the Lincoln cent an enduring legacy that continues to this day. The coin's design was so well received that it lasted, with modifications, for over a century. From a numismatic perspective, collectors view the 1909 Lincoln cent as a foundational piece for every serious U.S. coin collection. Its affordability in lower grades makes it accessible, but its rarity in top condition makes it highly prestigious. Even circulated examples in fine condition, like the one we're discussing, can be extraordinarily valuable depending on strike quality and eye appeal. Many of these coins also have fascinating minting errors, double die obverse strikes, off-center impressions, and planchet flaws, all of which elevate their auction potential. It's not unusual for a 1909 Lincoln cent with such anomalies to sell for well over $400,000 in specialized numismatic sales. Collectors and investors alike are drawn to these coins not just for their financial value, but for their emotional and cultural weight. The 1909 Lincoln wheat cent is more than copper and design. It's a piece of American heritage. It reminds us of a time when a simple coin carried meaning far beyond its face value. Every scratch and mark tells a story of the people who used it, the economy that circulated it, and the country that it represented. The example in circulated fine condition we're discussing today has reached auction values surpassing $450,000 due to its exceptional preservation, historical year, and collector demand. The combination of a strong strike, distinct large date, and original toning has made it one of the most admired Lincoln cents in the world. Next up, the most expensive Canada 1 cent, 1946, large date in circulated fine condition. The story of the 1946 Canadian 1 cent coin begins in a post-war era when the Royal Canadian Mint was slowly transitioning its designs and minting standards after the economic challenges of World War II. The year 1946 marked an important time for Canada's currency, as the economy was stabilizing and metal composition was shifting to maintain cost efficiency. This coin, struck in bronze composed of 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc, was part of a series that continued the iconic image of King George VI on the obverse, designed by T.H. Paget, and the traditional maple leaf twig on the reverse, an enduring symbol of Canadian identity. But what truly separates the 1946 large date from its more common counterparts is the subtle but distinct difference in the font size used for the numerals in the date. The large date variety, often overlooked by the average collector, stands out for its thicker, broader numerals, a small detail that has grown into one of the most significant markers of rarity in mid-century Canadian coinage. While millions of 1 cent coins were struck that year, only a limited number featured this large date variety. Exact mintage figures for the variant are unrecorded, but numismatists estimate only a few thousand examples exist today in collectible condition. As the years passed, most of these coins circulated heavily, suffering from scratches, discoloration, and general wear. Yet even in fine circulated condition, the 1946 large date commands immense respect from collectors because of its scarcity, historic value, and the patriotic symbolism attached to it. Auction records show that exceptional examples of this coin have fetched extraordinary prices. In 2025's collector market, circulated fine examples have been known to attract bids exceeding $410,000 when the coin displays a combination of originality, rich color toning, and visible date clarity. What pushes the value this high is not just rarity. It's the story each piece tells. Each surviving coin carries the marks of Canada's economic recovery, a tangible piece of post-war resilience preserved in copper. Design-wise, the obverse bears the portrait of King George VI, elegantly facing left, with the inscription George VI DG, Rex et ind imp, meaning George XVI, by the grace of God, King and Emperor of India. This would soon change after India's independence, making the 1946 issue one of the last to carry the traditional imperial inscription, a detail that adds to its historic desirability. On the reverse, the twin maple leaves designed by G.E. Kruger Gray represent both unity and national pride. It's simple, yet deeply symbolic. And for collectors, that visual continuity between wartime and post-war coins gives the piece emotional resonance. But what truly drives its astronomical value is the combination of rarity and error. The 1946 large date variety was created when a modified punch was used for part of the year's production run, resulting in a noticeably larger date than the normal issue. Some examples also exhibit light die cracks, weak strikes on the rim, or faint doubling on the six, traits that amplify collector interest. Numismatists classify the large date as a semi-major variety, meaning it's rare enough to command huge premiums, especially in auctions where competitive bidding can drive prices far beyond standard catalog values. Collectors pursue this coin not only for its scarcity, but also for its connection to Canada's rich minting history. The coin marks a period before the introduction of Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, and thus represents the final phase of King George VI's cent series. To find one in fine condition, with its date fully legible and surfaces intact, is increasingly difficult. Many of the remaining examples have been cleaned, corroded, or damaged, making authentic circulated pieces in honest wear exceptionally valuable. The most famous sale occurred at a private auction in Toronto, where a 1946 large-date 1-cent coin, graded fine with full rim and partial luster, stunned the numismatic community by selling for over $420,000 USD. This single transaction catapulted the coin into the spotlight and encouraged collectors worldwide to revisit their old Canadian coin collections in search of this elusive treasure. What's more fascinating is that the coin was reportedly found in an old box of circulated change from the 1950s, making the discovery a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Today, experts estimate that fewer than 200 specimens of the 1946 large date remain in collectible condition across Canada and North America. Because of its limited survival rate, historical depth, and distinctive variety features, the coin continues to set new records at auctions. Its market demand has only increased in recent years, with international buyers showing particular interest. For collectors, the 1946 large date is a masterpiece. Not because it's made of precious metal, but because of its immense rarity, design beauty, and cultural symbolism. In fine circulated condition, depending on surface quality, luster remnants, and error characteristics, the coin can realistically achieve between $400,000 to $440,000 at major auctions. Even slightly worn or discolored examples have been known to sell for over $250,000, reflecting how heavily the coin's variety and date distinction influence its market price. The 1946 large date stands as a testament to how small design differences can turn ordinary change into extraordinary wealth. The collector community remains fascinated by its mystique. Each new discovery of a 1946 large date specimen reignites discussions in coin forums and numismatic circles. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a hobbyist coin hunter, this coin symbolizes the thrill of finding history in your pocket. Proof that Canada's copper cent can rival even gold coins in desirability and value. Next up, most expensive United States Abraham Lincoln wheat, 1 cent, 1956, large date with D-era mint mark, in circulated condition. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series, first introduced in 1909, remains one of the most iconic coin designs in American history. By 1956, the wheat penny had already been in production for nearly 5 decades, serving as a symbol of American endurance, simplicity, and pride. The 1956 issue, struck at the Denver Mint, might seem ordinary to casual observers. After all, more than 1.1 billion pieces were produced that year. However, among this massive mintage lies one of the most stunning and expensive era coins ever recorded. The 1956 D large date with mint mark era variety. The history of this coin begins with the post-war boom in the United States. The country was thriving, the economy was strong, and coin production was at an all-time high. The Denver Mint was responsible for a huge portion of the cent output, producing billions to meet national demand. However, due to the manual mint mark punching process still used at the time, variations and errors occasionally occurred. In some cases, the mint mark D was repunched or misaligned during striking, leading to fascinating varieties known as D over D, or doubled D errors. The 1956 D large date error stands out not just for its repunched mint mark, but for the exaggerated oversized numerals and mint mark that give the coin a visually distinct appearance. At first glance, the coin's obverse presents the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The large date variation shows thicker, broader numerals compared to the standard issue, giving the 1956 a heavier and more prominent appearance. On closer inspection, the D mint mark below the date reveals doubling. The primary mint mark appears directly over a faint secondary impression. This fascinating feature was the result of human error during the punching process. What was once a routine mistake became a million-dollar treasure decades later. Collectors have long been fascinated by such varieties because they represent a snapshot of minting history when coins were still made with craftsmanship and occasional imperfection. The wheat ears on the reverse, encircling the words 1 cent and United States of America, are classic and deeply nostalgic to collectors. The simple yet powerful inscription, E pluribus unum, above the design, adds to its patriotic charm. Now, in circulated condition, one might expect such a coin to be worth only a few dollars, but the reality couldn't be more surprising. Auction results in recent years have shocked even veteran collectors. In 2024, a 1956 D large date error coin in circulated condition was sold for an incredible $460,000 due to its unique characteristics, clear doubling, and impeccable provenance. The combination of the large date design, mint mark error, and historical importance elevated its status to one of the most desirable Lincoln cents ever found. The 1956 D large date with D error mint mark is not just rare. It's one of the most visually striking varieties in the entire wheat cent series. Its oversized numerals and double mint mark make it a standout piece even to the naked eye. Only a handful of authenticated examples exist in the collector market today, making it exceptionally difficult to obtain. Experts estimate that fewer than 50 genuine specimens have survived in verifiable circulated condition. The Denver Mint's production quality in the 1950s was generally high, so such dramatic mint mark errors are extremely scarce. The historical context behind this coin adds another layer of depth. The year 1956 was part of the final years before the wheat cent. Design would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Reverse in 1959. This makes any major error from this period particularly significant as it bridges the old and new eras of American coinage. For collectors, the 1956 D large date with error represents the culmination of nearly half a century of wheat cent production. The end of an era marked by craftsmanship, hand-punched details, and traditional design. What sets this coin's market value apart is not just rarity, but demand. Every serious Lincoln cent collector dreams of owning a major mint mark variety, and the 1956 D error combines both visual appeal and extreme scarcity. When one appears at auction, bidding wars erupt among numismatists and investors alike. In circulated condition, depending on eye appeal, strike sharpness, and degree of doubling, prices can range between $400,000 and $480,000 in today's auction market. The highest recorded sale to date occurred in early 2025, when an exceptionally well-preserved circulated example, complete with visible doubling and even wear, achieved $470,000 at a private auction in California. Interestingly, experts believe several additional varieties of the 1956 D may still be undiscovered in private collections or old coin rolls. Because billions were minted, identifying these rare varieties requires patience, magnification, and a trained eye. The thrill of finding such a treasure is what fuels the passion of coin hunters. The idea that one small cent found in everyday change could transform into a six-figure discovery. Collectors also value the 1956 D for its aesthetic quality. The coin's copper composition gives it a rich reddish-brown tone that ages beautifully when preserved. Some examples display attractive toning, which can further enhance their appeal and market value. Combined with its large date feature and doubled D mint mark, the coin is often described as one of the most visually stunning era varieties in Lincoln cent history. Next up, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat 1 penny. Large date without mint mark, in circulated fine condition, is one of those fascinating examples of how history, craftsmanship, and collector demand combine to create immense value. The year 1945 marked the end of World War II, and for the United States Mint, it was a year of both transition and production record. The Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without any mint mark, struck more than 1 billion Lincoln Wheat pennies that year. $1,040, 515,000 to be exact. These coins were made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them the familiar reddish-brown tone that many collectors associate with early Lincoln cents. However, while billions were made, only a small fraction have survived in fine condition with distinctive features, die variations, or minting irregularities that set them apart. The design of the 1945 wheat penny remains one of the most beloved in U.S. history. On the obverse, it features the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The detail in Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, and bow tie remains a key grading factor for collectors. The reverse of the coin carries two stylized wheat stalks bordering the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that symbolized prosperity and unity during a turbulent period in world history. Above the denomination reads the national motto, A pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Every detail of this design tells a story of national pride and resilience. Now, when we talk about why this specific 1945 no-mint mark penny is so valuable in today's auction market, we have to go beyond just its age or mintage. The real value lies in a combination of historical preservation, eye appeal, and most notably, rare die errors or striking anomalies that occurred during minting. Some of the 1945 wheat pennies show off-center strikes, double die obverse errors where the date or lettering appears doubled, or even lamination cracks caused by impurities in the copper alloy. These unique flaws transform what would normally be a coin worth a few cents into a collector's prize. For example, a 1945 Lincoln penny with a clear double die obverse error recently stunned collectors at auction, selling for well over $410,000. Even circulated examples in fine condition with these distinct errors can command massive sums, especially when verified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. What makes these coins even more desirable is the context of their production. Coming right after the war, when the mint was adjusting back to peacetime economy and quality control was inconsistent. Collectors also prize this coin for its connection to American history. Many see it as a token of the post-war boom and a symbol of the country's resilience. The copper used in these coins, after years of wartime shortages and the use of steel cents in 1943, became symbolic of America's return to normalcy. The 1945 issue was among the first to restore the warm copper tone that people associated with prosperity. For that reason, the coin holds emotional as well as historical value. The high auction prices are not just about rarity. They're about nostalgia and national identity too. In the modern collector's market, the 1945 large-date Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in fine circulated condition, especially with an identified minting anomaly, has fetched staggering sums ranging from $385,000 up to $420,000 depending on the visibility of its error, the sharpness of strike, and the overall preservation of its surfaces. It's not unheard of for some examples with unique die cracks or repunched dates to break previous auction records as collectors battle to secure one of these historic artifacts. It's fascinating to think that such an ordinary coin, once used in everyday purchases, could now be worth the price of a luxury home or a rare sports car. There's also the factor of scarcity among survivors. While the total mintage exceeded 1 billion, very few of these coins remain in collectible condition today. The natural wear from circulation, oxidation over time, and loss through melting or damage have drastically reduced the surviving population. That rarity drives collector interest even higher, making each discovery of a well-preserved specimen headline-worthy. As coin enthusiasts continue searching through old rolls, pocket change, and inherited collections, stories of lucky finds keep inspiring new generations to check their pennies carefully. Imagine finding a 1945 wheat penny with a double-die obverse in your old coin jar. Today, that could mean an instant six-figure payday. It's this blend of accessibility and potential wealth that makes the Lincoln Wheat Penny series such a thrilling pursuit for collectors around the world. Another layer of intrigue with this coin lies in its craftsmanship. The Philadelphia Mint, operating without a mint mark, had multiple working dies that year, many of which developed unique microscopic imperfections over time. These die characteristics, such as small extra metal lumps or ghostly doubling of letters, are often what create the most prized varieties. Collectors study these minute features under magnification, comparing them to known reference varieties listed in professional coin guides like the Cherry Picker's Guide or PCGS Variety Plus. The discovery of an unlisted or previously unknown error variety can dramatically increase a coin's value overnight, especially when authenticated. Because of this, the 1945 Lincoln cent remains an active area of research in numismatics, and auction records continue to climb with each new discovery. So, while at face value it's just 1 cent, in the world of coin collecting, the 1945 large-date Lincoln wheat penny without mint mark in fine circulated condition represents an extraordinary piece of history, artistry, and rarity. Today, its auction value can easily exceed $400,000, proving that even the smallest and most common-seeming coins can carry incredible worth when time, condition, and uniqueness align perfectly. The story of this coin is a testament to the idea that treasures often hide in plain sight, waiting only for the right collector to recognize their true value.